Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UEE's Discovery, his eyes fixed on the strange object on the main display. The alien probe, roughly the size of a small building, shimmered in the starlight, its metallic surface shifting colors, in ways that defied explanation. It had appeared at the outer edge of their solar system 3 hours ago and had been transmitting signals ever since. "Any progress decoding those signals, Lisa?" Jake asked his communications officer. Lisa Carter looked up from her console, her eyes shining with excitement. "I think I've cracked it, Captain. The probe is using mathematical sequences to construct a communication bridge. It wants to converse." Jake nodded, walking closer to her station. "Open the channel. Let's hear what our visitors have to say." The main display flickered, revealing a tall alien figure with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. Its elongated head and large black eyes gave it an imposing presence, seeming to peer directly into their minds. When it spoke, its voice carried deep authority. "I am Ambassador Vexar of the Great Zephyran Empire. Your primitive species has been detected within this system under ancient galactic law. This territory now belongs to the Empire. You will prepare for integration into our civilization." Silence fell over the bridge. Jake had always known this moment might come, but he had hoped for different circumstances. Straightening his uniform, he stepped forward. "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth Defense Force. This is human territory, and we do not recognize any claim by your empire. You are trespassing." The alien made a sound resembling laughter. "Your species controls a single planet. The Zaharian Empire spans thousands of worlds across the galaxy. We have ruled long before your civilization existed. You hold no authority to claim territory." Jake's voice remained steady. "Nevertheless, Ambassador, we assert exclusive rights to this solar system and all space within 50 light-years of Earth. Any vessels from your empire entering this zone will be treated as hostile." Vexar's eyes glowed brighter. "You amuse us, small human. Your world barely wields fusion technology, and your largest ships are mere toys against Imperial vessels. How do you expect to oppose us?" "That remains to be seen. Consider this your only warning. Leave now and never return." The alien stared at Jake a long moment before laughing again. "We will return, human. Then you will understand the fate of species who defy galactic order. Your warning is noted and dismissed." The screen went dark. The probe drifted away and Jake watched silently, knowing the message would soon alert the Empire and bring a fleet. "Lisa, open a secure channel to Earth Command." "Priority Alpha, sir," she responded. Within minutes, Admiral Kate Sullivan appeared on screen. Her gray hair was pulled into a tight bun, her uniform flawless. "Report, Captain." Jake detailed the encounter. The Admiral listened in silence. When he finished, she paused for nearly a minute. "You gave them the standard warning?" "Yes, ma'am. 50 light-year exclusion zone. They ignored it." "They never take us seriously," Sullivan said. "How long?" "Until they dispatch a fleet. Based on the probe's trajectory, approximately 3 to 4 months. Sullivan nodded. "Time enough to prepare. Return to Earth immediately. We must brief the Defense Council." 2 weeks later, Jake sat in the secure briefing room beneath Earth Command headquarters. Military leaders filled the chamber, and Admiral Sullivan stood at the front beside a large display screen. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "we face our first major test since establishing the defense protocols. Dr. Bell will present findings from the alien probe." Dr. Ryan Bell, a thin man with thick glasses, activated the display. Images of the Zaharian probe filled the screen. Its database contained vast information. The Empire controlled over 3,000 worlds with a military numbering in the billions. Their technology was advanced but within human capacity to counter. Crucially, they had never encountered serious resistance. General Paul Harris raised a hand. What is their standard invasion procedure? They send a demonstration fleet to intimidate. The target species, 10 to 15 capital ships with support vessels. If the species surrenders, they are relocated. If they resist, the Empire destroys the military first, then relocates survivors, Admiral Sullivan resumed. This aligns perfectly with our planning. The Empire sees us as primitives, either to surrender or perish quickly. They have no idea what they're stepping into. Jake spoke from his seat. What about Protocol 7, Admiral? Are we initiating it? Already done, Captain, Sullivan replied. The defense grid has been on standby for a week. All platforms are powered and ready. AI systems are running final diagnostics. Dr. Bell switched the display to a map of local space. The Empire probe had detected nothing unusual in their system. To the Zephyrians, humanity had basic fusion technology and a few scattered colonies. They saw exactly what was intended. How many platforms are active now? Asked Colonel Amy Foster. All of them, Amy. Every platform within 50 light-years is online and armed. The network is complete. Jake had witnessed parts of the defense during construction, but never the full scale. The concept was simple, yet brilliant. If humanity couldn't match alien empires in numbers, they would make human space prohibitively costly to conquer. Every approach to Earth was covered by weapons capable of annihilating entire fleets. Admiral Sullivan scanned the room. Officers, we've spent 80 years preparing for this moment. Our parents and grandparents built this system so we could defend our home. The Zephyrians think they're dealing with primitives who will crumble under pressure. They're about to find out otherwise. The meeting continued for hours, reviewing defensive positions and communication protocols. Jake learned that observation posts across human space were already monitoring potential Imperial movements. Long-range sensors indicated military activity in multiple sectors, suggesting fleet assembly. As the briefing ended, Sullivan pulled Jake aside. I want you commanding the Discovery when they arrive. You made first contact, so you should lead the follow-up. Understood, ma'am. Any special instructions? Give them one last chance to withdraw peacefully. After that, follow protocols to the letter. No deviation, no mercy. Jake nodded and returned to his ship. The Discovery would be ready when the Empire arrived. So would humanity's defenses. The Zephyrians had been warned human space was off limits. Soon, they would discover what that warning truly meant. 3 months and 2 weeks after the probe encounter, the Zephyrian Empire returned. Fleet Commander Zakthul stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the primitive solar system grow, larger on the main screens. Behind him stretched the most formidable fleet he had ever commanded. 12 massive dreadnoughts formed the fleet's core, each over 2 miles long and armed with firepower capable of destroying planets. Hundreds of smaller vessels, cruisers, destroyers, support ships, flanked them. This represented more military power than most species had ever encountered. Zakthul was confident the mission would be swift. Intelligence reports showed humans possessed basic technology and limited defenses. Their largest warships were scarcely the size of Imperial shuttles. The species had shown unusual arrogance during first contact, but that would vanish once they faced true power. Communications officer, contact the human homeworld directly. I want their leadership on screen. Channel established, Commander. You are speaking with Earth. The main display revealed a middle-aged human male behind a wooden desk. Simple attire, calm demeanor, yet facing the largest fleet in the sector. A small nameplate read, President Alex Carter. I am Fleet Commander Zakthul of the Zephyrian Imperial Navy. You are the leader of this species. I am President Carter of the United Earth Government. We received your probe's message months ago and sent our response. Have you come to respect our territorial boundaries? Zakthul made the laughter sound of his species. Your claims are meaningless, human. I command a fleet capable of annihilating your civilization in hours. Surrender immediately and prepare for relocation to Imperial-designated worlds. President. Carter leaned back, thinking. Commander, I will be very clear. Your fleet entered human space without permission. This is an act of war under our laws. You have 24 hours to withdraw all vessels beyond our 50-light-year boundary. If you refuse, we will treat you as hostile and respond accordingly. Zaktul scanned tactical displays of the human fleet. Their entire military consisted of roughly 30 small ships scattered across the system. Each vessel was tiny compared to his dreadnoughts and carried primitive weapons that could barely scratch Imperial armor. You have 30 small ships, human. I command over 400 vessels, including 12 dreadnoughts. Your weapons are generations behind Imperial technology. What exactly do you think you can do against this fleet? President Carter rose from his desk and walked to a window overlooking Earth's blue sky. Commander, your probe visited our system and scanned our defenses. Tell me what it detected. Fusion power plants, basic missile systems, and energy weapons. Suitable for primitive conflicts. Nothing capable of threatening Imperial ships. Then you should withdraw now while you still can. The transmission ended. Zaktul stared at the blank screen, then turned to his tactical officer, a young Zephyrin with bright blue markings on his arms. Analysis of human defenses, sir? Minimal, Commander. 30 small warships with fusion missiles and particle beams. Orbital. As his fleet approached, Zaktul reviewed the tactical plan. The dreadnoughts would bombard planetary defenses while smaller ships eliminated any human vessels. The operation should take under an hour and leave the colony uninhabitable. Sir, we are detecting unusual energy readings across the region. Zaktul turned to the sensor officer. Explain. Massive gravitational anomalies appear and vanish throughout the system. Energy signatures unknown to Imperial tech. Readings suggest enormous objects our sensors cannot fully detect, likely space debris or natural phenomena. Advancing cautiously. Yet, as the fleet moved deeper into human space, the anomalies grew stronger. Long-range sensors indicated distortions, implying massive hidden structures scattered across the system. Nothing in Imperial databases resembled these readings. Commander, incoming transmission from a human vessel. The screen displayed a human, male in a dark blue uniform with captain's insignia, confident and authoritative. Zaktul was surprised. I am Captain Ben Taylor of the United Earth vessel Phantom. Commander Zaktul, you are now 23 hours and 15 minutes past. Our deadline. Withdraw immediately. Captain, your species has no authority to set deadlines for the Zephyrin Empire. We go where we choose. Commander, understand this. You are not facing primitives who will surrender when threatened. We have prepared for this encounter for generations. Your fleet is in extreme danger. Zaktul checked his tactical display, but there was no sign of the human ship Phantom. Sensors indicated empty space where the transmission originated. Where is your vessel, Captain? Our sensors detect nothing. We are closer than you think, Commander. Look at your long-range displays. What do you see? Zaktul turned to his sensor station, where the officer studied readings with growing unease. Energy signatures multiplied and intensified as they neared the human colony. Sir, the gravitational anomalies are increasing. Whatever is generating them is massive, much larger than our ships. Captain Taylor's voice continued over the speakers. Commander, you are surrounded by defensive systems your probe never detected. We have been building this network for 80 years to counter threats like your fleet. Turn around now and leave human space while you still can. Zaktul felt the first touch of uncertainty since entering this system. The energy readings were inexplicable, and the human's confidence seemed genuine, not bluffing. But retreat without a fight would ruin his career and disgrace his family. All ships, maintain course and speed. Prepare for combat operations. The Zephyrin fleet advanced toward Proxima Centauri, while hidden sensors tracked every movement, and defensive systems readied to demonstrate the true meaning of humanity's territorial warnings. Zactul watched his tactical display as more energy readings appeared, gravitational anomalies strengthened, and massive objects flickered in and out of sensor range. His science officer lifted her eyes, confusion in her large black irises. "Commander, the readings indicate structures larger than our dreadnoughts positioned throughout this region, yet visual sensors show empty space." "Cloaking technology?" Zactul asked. "Unknown, sir. Patterns don't match any cloaking systems in Imperial databases." Before he could respond, his communications officer announced another transmission. The screen showed a different human male in a Space Force's uniform. "Fleet Commander Zactul, I am Captain Ben Taylor of the stealth destroyer Phantom. You ignored our deadline and continued toward human colonies. This was a mistake. Captain, where is your vessel? Our sensors cannot locate you." "We are exactly where we need to be, Commander. Your fleet is now completely surrounded by humanity's defensive network. I will explain what you face so you understand the situation." Taylor paused, seeming to look directly at Zactul. "For the past century, humanity has focused on one goal. We knew someday we would encounter a larger civilization that would try to conquer us. We could never match such empires numerically, so we chose a different strategy." The transmission shifted, showing technical diagrams and star charts. Every approach to human space had been fortified with platforms powered by stellar energy collectors. Each could channel the power of nearby stars into weapons capable of destroying multiple capital ships. Zactul studied the diagrams, dread mounting. If the humans were truthful, his fleet had walked into the most sophisticated trap in galactic history. The technology seemed impossible for such a primitive species. "You expect me to believe your species built weapons powered by stars? You will see for yourself, Commander. The network consists of over 2,000 platforms across our 50-light-year territory. Each is controlled by AI systems designed specifically to counter Imperial fleet tactics." The transmission shifted again, showing a human female in a white lab coat before humming, "Complex machinery." "I am Dr. Carol Wright, lead designer of the Stellar Energy Collection System. Commander, your species uses fusion reactors. We use cores of stars." Dr. Wright activated a panel displaying massive cylindrical structures near a bright yellow star. Each platform drew energy directly from stellar cores via gravitational field manipulation. A single platform's output equaled roughly 50 of your dreadnoughts. Cold fear crept up Zactul's spine. His tactical officer ran calculations. Numbers were terrifying. 2,000 platforms meant firepower equivalent to 100,000 dreadnoughts. This technology was impossible at their development level. Dr. Wright smiled, unnerving Zactul. "We had excellent motivation, Commander, knowing that someday creatures like you would come to destroy our homes. Fear and determination can drive a species to achieve extraordinary things." Taylor returned to the screen. "Our defensive network was designed by General Paul Harris, humanity's greatest strategist. 40 years studying Imperial conquest patterns and developing countermeasures. Every tactic your empire has used successfully was anticipated and neutralized." "Impossible. The empire has conquered thousands of species over millennia." "Yes, and they all made the same mistake, Commander. They fought ship to ship using conventional tactics. We chose a different approach." Zactul turned to his tactical officer, who studied the sensors with mounting alarm. "Sir, energy readings are intensifying. Whatever is generating them is powering up. All ships, prepare for combat. Raise shields and charge weapons." "Captain," Taylor's voice carried a note of sadness. "Commander, you are making this more difficult than necessary. Your fleet cannot win this engagement. The question is, how many of your people will die before you accept reality? The Zephyrian Empire does not retreat from primitive species. Then you will learn why human territory is forbidden space." The transmission ended. Zachtel stared at empty space on his main screen. Around him, his crew scrambled to interpret. Sensor readings and prepare for whatever was coming. Sir, massive energy surge detected directly ahead of the flagship. Space itself seemed to ripple and twist as something enormous began materializing in front of the Zephyrin fleet. The cloaking field collapsed, revealing a structure so immense it dwarfed even the Imperial dreadnoughts. The defensive platform was cylindrical, bristling with weapon systems glowing with barely contained stellar energy. All ships! Emergency evasive maneuvers! Zachtel shouted, but he knew it was too late. The platform fired a single concentrated beam drawn from the nearby star. The energy cut through space faster than Imperial sensors could track, striking the Zephyrin cruiser Magnificent Conquest. The ship ceased to exist. One moment it carried 3,000 warriors. The next, only expanding plasma and debris remained. More platforms began decloaking across the region. Zachtel counted dozens of massive structures, positioned at perfect intervals to create overlapping fields of fire. His fleet was trapped in what humans called a kill zone, no escape. Communications, patch me to that human captain immediately. Captain Taylor appeared again, grim. You have seen what happens when you threaten human colonies. Commander, order your fleet to power down weapons and prepare to withdraw. One lucky shot does not decide a battle, he added. Commander, you are facing the accumulated defense preparations of an entire civilization. Every platform you see was built by humans who knew their children's lives depended on stopping invaders like you. This is not luck. This is 100 years of careful planning and preparation. Dr. Carol Wright's voice joined from her. Laboratory. Commander, each platform is connected to our central defense network. The AI coordinates fire from all 2,000 platforms simultaneously. Your fleet cannot survive that level of concentrated stellar energy. Zachtel stared at his tactical displays, showing the massive human structures encircling his ships. For the first time in his career, he faced an enemy with overwhelming technological and tactical advantage. The Empire had always relied on superior numbers and firepower to crush resistance. Now he understood what happens when those advantages are reversed. How many platforms are targeting my flagship? Currently 12, Commander, but that number can increase rapidly if hostile actions continue. Zachtel studied the defensive platforms surrounding his fleet. Each represented humanity's determination to protect its territory at any cost. He had led his fleet into the most sophisticated military trap in galactic history and now faced a choice: retreat or total annihilation. He tried to order his ships away from the human platforms, only to find escape impossible. Every route plotted by his navigation officers was blocked by more cloaked structures. Humans had turned their territory into a massive trap. His fleet was at its center. Sir, we detect movement from the human platforms. They're repositioning to block exit vectors. How many platforms total? Unknown, Commander. Sensors detect at least 60 within weapons range, but energy readings suggest many more across the region. Zachtel turned to his tactical officer studying platform positions. Can we overwhelm them with concentrated fire? Doubtful, sir. Each platform has defensive shields powered by stellar energy. It would take the combined firepower of our entire fleet to destroy even one. Colonel Amy Foster's voice came over the communication channel from Luna Base, commanding the human defense grid. Commander Zachtel, your fleet has been sealed inside our defensive perimeter. Any attempt to force your way out will result in the destruction of your ships. Colonel, you cannot hold an Imperial fleet indefinitely. Actually, we can, Commander. The defensive network runs on automated protocols that require no human intervention. Our AI systems will maintain containment until you withdraw peacefully. Zachtel felt panic rising. He had commanded fleets for 30 years and never faced a situation where retreat was impossible. The Empire relied on superior firepower to force exits, but humans had neutralized that advantage. Dr. Helen Brooks spoke from Earth's Strategic Command Center, monitoring the engagement. Commander, we are recording everything, every movement, weapon deployment, tactical formation, and communication. This data will improve our defenses against future Imperial threats. You are studying us? Of course, Commander. Your empire represents the most advanced military force we've encountered. Understanding your capabilities helps us prepare. Zaktul realized the humans were not merely trapping his fleet, they were learning from it. Every action his ships took revealed Imperial tactics for potential use in future conflicts. Sir, several cruisers request independent surrender. Denied. No Imperial officer surrenders without fleet command authorization. Hours passed, and psychological pressure began affecting his crews. Warriors trained to face inferior enemies now confronted an adversary that could trap an entire fleet effortlessly. Captain Susan Blake of the human vessel Guardian contacted the flagship. Commander Zaktul, Earth Command authorizes negotiations. Power down your weapons and we can discuss terms. The Empire does not negotiate with primitive species, Captain. Then you remain trapped until supplies run out. Our platforms can hold position indefinitely. Yours cannot. Zaktul reviewed supply reports. The fleet had 6 months of food and fuel, but morale would crumble far sooner. Imperial warriors were untrained for prolonged sieges or captivity. An incoming priority transmission from the Empire appeared. High Admiral Cathvar spoke from the capital world, his scarred face and commanding voice unmistakable. Fleet Commander, report your status immediately, Zaktul explained while the Admiral listened silently. Minutes later, Cathvar responded. You are telling me a primitive species has trapped 400 Imperial ships? Yes, sir. Their technology surpasses our estimates. The platforms, stellar energy weapons can destroy our largest ships in a single shot. Impossible. Our probes scanned the system thoroughly. They hide nothing from Imperial eyes. They lured us into a trap, Admiral. Cathvar's expression darkened. The Empire cannot allow primitives to hold our ships hostage. Break out. Immediately, using whatever force necessary. Sir, tactical analysis predicts total fleet destruction if we attempt exit. The humans' firepower is overwhelming. Then die with honor rather than shame the Empire with surrender. The transmission ended. Zaktul stared at a blank screen. Following orders meant sacrificing 40,000 lives. He searched for alternatives. Sir, we could try negotiating directly with human leadership. No. The High Admiral's orders are final. Desperation crept in. Perhaps destroying Earth would force them to lower defenses. Navigation, plot course for the human home world. All ships, prepare to fire on planetary targets. The tactical officer protested. Sir, attacking civilians violates Imperial codes. These are not ordinary circumstances. Threaten their home, they may relent. The fleet moved toward Earth while human sensors tracked every ship. Colonel Amy Foster saw the maneuver and immediately acted. All platforms, this is Luna Base. Imperial fleet targeting Earth. Activate Protocol 7 immediately. Thousands of defensive platforms across human space received the signal. Protocol 7 was the final response to direct threats on civilian populations, designed by Major Chris Young to ensure no enemy could hold Earth hostage. Dr. Carol Wright monitored. Power buildup as stellar energy collectors maximized output. All stations prepare coordinated fire. Target: Imperial Fleet Zaphiron. Full network engagement authorized. Captain Ben Taylor contacted the Zaphiron flagship one final time. Commander Zaktul, you have made a grave mistake. Threatening Earth triggers our most devastating defenses. Stand down immediately. Too late, human. My ships will destroy your homeworld unless you release us. No enemy has ever threatened Earth and survived. You have seconds to surrender before our network fires. Zaktul watched Earth grow on his display. Human platforms powered weapons from multiple stars simultaneously. His gamble on their restraint had failed catastrophically. All ships. Emergency retreat, maximum speed. It was too late. The human network activated. 2,000 stellar energy weapons prepared to demonstrate why Earth's territory was forbidden. Protocol 7 engaged across the network. Every defensive platform within 50 light-years drew maximum power from nearby stars. The buildup was unprecedented. Major. Chris Young designed Protocol 7 with one rule. Any direct civilian threat faces the combined firepower of humanity's entire network. No warnings, no negotiations, no mercy. Dr. Carol Wright watched energy readings surpass all previous records. All stations maximum power. Network synchronized. Full coordination across all 2,000 platforms. The Zephyrin fleet tried to flee, but the human grid surrounded them. Every escape route was blocked. Platforms glowed with nearly contained stellar energy, drawing power from dozens of stars. "Sir, energy readings off the charts," the science officer reported in terror. Humans channeled multiple stellar cores into weapons. Zactul watched platforms encircle the fleet, brighter than small suns. His ships had triggered humanity's ultimate defense, unstoppable and inevitable. All ships maximum shields, prepare for incoming fire. Imperial shields designed for conventional weapons could not withstand stellar core energy. The first salvo hit with the combined force of 20 stars. The dreadnought, eternal glory, vanished in a flash, visible from Earth. 8,000 warriors were reduced to plasma. 6 more dreadnoughts fell within minutes as the human network unleashed its full might. Zactul watched his fleet die as cruisers. The questions lingered as Zactul considered the economics of war. The Empire had always conquered easily defeated species cheaply. Fighting a civilization with stellar-powered weapons would cost more than any territory was worth. Admiral Kate Sullivan personally escorted Zactul to the edge of human space in her command ship, ensuring the Empire's sole survivor grasped humanity's message. "Commander, your species has ruled through superior technology and overwhelming force. Those advantages do not work against us. Any fleet sent to human space will be destroyed, as swiftly as the one you led. What if the Empire builds similar weapons?" "Feel free to try, Commander. We've had a century to perfect this technology, and our civilization is dedicated to defense. By the time your scientists master stellar energy manipulation, we will have advanced even further." The escape pod was released at the 50 light-year boundary with supplies sufficient to reach the nearest Imperial world. Zactul began the long journey home, carrying news that would shock the Zephyrin Empire. 6 months later, Captain Jake Morrison sat in his ready room aboard the Discovery, reviewing intelligence from across the galaxy. Human scouts had intercepted alien communications, and the results exceeded expectations. News of the Zephyrin fleet's destruction had spread faster than predicted. The 50 light-year boundary of human space was now universally known as the Terran Exclusion Zone. No alien vessel approached since the battle. Trade requests arrived from safe distances outside the zone, and exploration fleets steered clear. Several species sent diplomatic messages seeking peaceful contact, but none dared enter the Forbidden Zone. Dr. Ryan Bell presented his analysis to the Earth Defense Council, demonstrating humanity's impact on galactic politics. The Empire's defeat created a power vacuum. Smaller species are forming defensive alliances modeled on humans. Are they copying our technology? They try, but stellar energy manipulation requires resources and knowledge beyond most. They mimic our strategy, make invasion too costly to attempt. President Alex Carter addressed the United Earth Assembly from the same desk he had used months earlier. "Citizens, we have achieved what seemed impossible. Humanity is now too dangerous to threaten, too costly to conquer." He paused, gazing into cameras broadcasting across human space. "The Empire was warned. Our territory is forbidden. The galaxy has learned the price of ignoring that warning. Humanity is free to develop without fear of conquest or invasion." In the depths of space, the Human Defense Network maintained its silent watch. 2,000 stellar core-powered platforms stood ready, proving once again why some boundaries must never be crossed. The galaxy had learned to respect human space, and humanity had earned the peace they had fought so hard to achieve.